Hello everyone and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that's quietly shaking up warehouses and factories all around the world. We're talking about the workhorse of our supply chains, the forklift. And believe me, a huge technological shift is happening right now that's changing the entire game.
So this really brings us to the central question, the one our source material is built around. Will this new wave of lithium-ion forklifts actually, take over everything? It's a fantastic question, and to answer it, we got to look under the hood.
All right, so think of it like a title fight. In one corner, you've got the old guard, the familiar, trusty lead-acid batteries and the classic gas and diesel engines that have powered this industry for, well, forever. And in the other corner, you have the new challenger, these sleek, super-efficient lithium iron phosphate batteries. This is the matchup we're going to explore.
So to really get why this is such a game changer, we first need to understand the tech itself. Let's take a look inside the power source and see how a modern forklift battery actually does what it does.
It really just boils down to three key parts. First, you've got the anode, which is usually made of graphite. Then there's the cathode, that's a metal oxide that holds all that important lithium. And in between them, you have the electrolyte, basically a lithium salt that lets all the little ions travel back and forth.
And this is how it all comes together. When you're charging, you're essentially just pushing lithium ions from one side, the cathode, over to the other, the anode. They get stored in these little layers of graphite, and our source material had a great way of putting it. It's like a bouncy ball sitting at the top of a really steep hill, just packed with potential energy. The second you unplug it, that ball starts rolling back down the hill, and that flow creates the electrical current that powers the whole forklift. Pretty neat, right?
But, and this is a really important but, not all lithium-ion batteries are the same. Not even close. The older stuff, lithium cobalt oxide, had some serious issues. It could be unstable if it got too hot, which was a fire risk. Plus, it relied on cobalt mining, and that has some major environmental and human rights problems attached to it. The batteries in these new forklifts use lithium iron phosphate, or litho-PO4. It is way more stable, so you don't have that overheating risk, and it uses almost no cobalt. That makes it a much safer and more ethical option.
Okay, so we've covered the science. Now let's talk about the real-world advantages. What does all this new battery tech actually mean for a business day-to-day? Well, it really comes down to 5 huge benefits.
So here they are, the 5 big wins we're going to break down. And we'll start with the one that affects operations the most, consistent power.
First up, consistent power. Now, anyone who's used a machine with an old lead-acid battery knows what happens. As the charge goes down, the power just drains away. The forklift gets sluggish. With lithium-ion, that just doesn't happen. You get the same zippy performance at 20% charge that you do at 90%.
And here's why that's a huge deal. Consistent power means predictable productivity. A manager doesn't have to guess or try to account for a machine slowing down halfway through a shift. You can set really clear, measurable goals for your team, which is an absolute game changer for planning and efficiency.
Okay, next up, charging. Lead-acid batteries are, well, they're divas. They have strict rules. You have to charge them all the way to 100%, and then they need a long cooldown period. It takes a ton of time. Lithium-ion throws all that out the window with something called opportunity charging. An operator can literally just plug the forklift in during a 15-minute coffee break or over lunch. It doesn't hurt the battery at all, and there's no cooldown needed. Less downtime just means more work gets done. Simple as that.
And what about maintenance? Oh man, the difference here is just night and day. With lead acid, you've got this whole chore list. Watering the cells, running these special equalizing charges, cleaning the gunk off terminals. With lithium ion? Nope, none of that. It's a sealed box. It needs pretty much zero maintenance, which frees up so much time and labor.
Now this is a big one. Because they charge so much faster and last longer, a single lithium-ion battery can often do the work of 3 lead-acid batteries in a place that runs multiple shifts. I mean, think about that. You're not just saving money buying fewer batteries, you also free up a ton of storage space and completely get rid of the dangerous acid splash hazard for the people who had to swap those heavy things out.
So, it all sounds pretty incredible, I know. But for a fair picture, we have to look at the other side of the coin. It's not a perfect solution, and there are a couple of pretty significant downsides that you've got to consider.
And the first one is a big number. 3 times. A brand new lithium-ion forklift can cost about 3 times as much as its lead-acid counterpart. Now, for any business owner, that is a huge upfront investment. It's the kind of price tag that can stop a conversation right in its tracks.
But that number needs some context. Yes, it's a massive upfront cost, but it's designed to pay for itself with long-term savings. The whole idea is that when you add up the faster charging, the much longer battery life, the almost zero maintenance costs, and the boost in productivity, well, these machines are expected to actually save you money over their lifespan. It's that classic battle between upfront cost and long-term operational savings.
The other hurdle, right now, is recycling. Because this specific LiFePO 4 tech is so new, most of the batteries that have been sold are actually still out there working. That means the big, efficient recycling programs are still just getting started, so disposal fees can be pretty steep. The general feeling in the industry, though, is that those costs will come down a lot as the tech gets older and more batteries start to enter the recycling stream.
So, after weighing all the pros and all the cons, where does that leave us? It's time to get to the final verdict on where this whole industry is headed.
When you put them all side by side, their roles become crystal clear. Gas and diesel, they've still got a place for certain heavy-duty jobs where you absolutely cannot have downtime for charging. Lead-acid's biggest and maybe only advantage is that low upfront price tag. But when you look at the whole picture, efficiency, safety, long-term costs, lithium-ion just comes out ahead almost every time.
And our source material really doesn't pull any punches here. I love this quote. It says, "Gas and diesel are dinosaurs, slowly making their way to extinction." That is a bold statement, but it really captures the global shift toward cleaner and more efficient energy that we're seeing everywhere.
So, to finally answer that question we started with, will lithium-ion forklifts rule the world? Well, based on everything we've seen, the verdict is a pretty clear yes. This tech is absolutely here to stay, and it seems all set to become the top dog in the entire world of material handling.
Which of course leaves us with one final and I think crucial question to think about. It's not really a question of if this change is happening anymore, but when you're going to adapt. So looking at all the advantages and the clear direction the industry is heading, is your business ready for what's next?